Hello, welcome. This is the final match of J5 of the J5 division. Currently, we stand at ArtisanFestival is in third place with 13-11. Can promote with 4-2 win. jmcgnh is a pro. Yeah, can't promote. Well, actually, could potentially promote with this as well. With a 6-0. So still possible for both to promote. So that's nice. But yeah, want to just see some good clean play. So this board. We've got village is workers village. Trashing, no way to trash estates, but coppers can be trashed with counterfeit. And then for draw, there's sheepdog, library, livery is draw as well with the numbers of horses that you can get. This is a multi-buy board, so there is so livery is fine, but not really much of a way to get any mid-turn gains. So the horses won't come quite as fast as they can with liveries. So perhaps library might end up being better draw. Not totally sure about that. But it can, with liveries, it can get out of control. Treasure trove or horde are both ways that extra horses could potentially be gained, just because of the golds that come with green cards in the case of horde, or with the gold in from treasure trove. And treasure trove actually could be nice once you get some deck control, to just keep feeding counterfeit as a source of buy. But I mean, you've also got workers village, which is pretty good. Yeah, we've got peddlers, which are fine as always. Here, like, you can get more buys, so I expect peddlers will probably end up running. And then prince can set aside a workers village, or a sheepdog might be nice. So we've also got fairy and way of the rat. So you can get any action by just discarding a copy of that. So you can just discard that and a treasure to get another copy of the action. So that could be useful. Fairy, I don't think peddler should be ferried, and it kind of anti-synergizes with livery because you can't get horses from buying more liveries to just explode that way, because it'll put livery down to 3. But peddler does not need to be ferried. So ArtisanFestival looks like they're going a bit more of a money-ish route. Yeah, and so at the moment, both of them have libraries, but neither have counterfeits. So that's not necessarily the greatest. Just counterfeit is a really good copper trasher, and it'll lower your money a bit, but or I mean, like, you won't have quite as much as early on, but you want to be able to get deck control before you start adding payload. So it should be pretty easy to get to a point where you're drawing your deck, because you can add some workers' villages, sheepdogs, um, a livery early on for hitting some higher price points, and then you won't be able to get quite as many horses, but I would say you can probably be able to be drawing your deck by turn 9 or 10. But yeah, so I will probably end up saying this quite a lot over the course of this match, but don't don't buy gold is the correct answer most of the time. Here, Treasure Trove and Hoard are both available. So if you want to have golds, then that's fine. But even here, I don't know if gold is really necessary, because you're not likely to be able to hit anything too significant if you're just going money. So like maybe you can get like a province estate, but if you don't really have draw, then it's not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to see much of your deck at a time, and so with livery, then you can be able to see more of your deck more easily, and then the more liveries you have, the more likely you can play them, just because they come with horses when you buy expensive enough cards. So the main downside of livery is just that it's a terminal action and could potentially be a little limited, because Workers' Village is the only village here, unless you were to print Candlestick Maker or Sheepdog, like something like that. But it shouldn't be too hard to play 2 to 3 liveries a turn, and then if you play 2 to 3 liveries a turn, then that's already 6 to 9 money to pretty easily be able to hit. And yeah, so some treasures are fine here, but generally you want to be getting rid of those. So Artisan Festival's going the Prince route. I mean, I guess that's fine. It's just going to be really, really hard to get the Prince to collide with anything. I mean, that is a nice move, that if you somehow manage to have a Prince and a library in the same hand, then you can set aside a library because you've ferried it. So that's actually a clever way around larger hand size. But yeah, at least without much draw here, then livery isn't going to be doing too much. But once you start buying, like if that had been like 2 workers' villages, then that'd be 2 horses, and so you can just kind of explode out more from there. Like a livery workers' village would have been nice as well. And you can pretty much get as many free sheepdogs as you want once you have one, because you can react to the buy and play it as a rat. Although you do have to just make sure to leave one treasure over so that you can discard for Way of the Rat. So here jmcgnh can set aside a Candlestick Maker. Okay. um, decides to play it instead. Maybe wants to undo. Because, yeah, Candlestick Maker's fine, but it doesn't do much. Oh, yeah, okay, so there, yeah, you want to play the prince and set the Candlestick Maker aside. Might be some confusion with how prince works. Um, so that prince is just now out of your hand for good, not doing anything. So yeah, you also do need to be careful with playing prince as well, because you can you can't print duration cards because they lose track of them. You can't print horses because those are returned when you play those. So yeah, but printing Workers' Village would have been good. Well, I mean that wasn't an option, but Candlestick Maker would have been fine as well, because it's a stop card. Just get it out of the way. Because Candlestick Maker's fine, but Workers' Village is much better. So if you think about it, the more Candlestick Makers you have, they don't let you draw cards. So that just makes it that much more difficult to see cards that you actually want to see, like your liveries, your Workers' Villages, your golds. Um, Not that you should necessarily have golds at this point, um, but yeah. Yeah, at some point, getting a counterfeit would uh, would be nice, or having gotten. I don't know if there will be a counterfeit gotten this game, but counterfeit is quite nice for copper trashing. And then like once you get the coppers out of the way, then you don't have to use it to trash more stuff. But you could, and it can get you a lot of money to and another buy to be able to potentially get yourself some more horses and whatnot. All right, so I missed it, but ArtisanFestival was able to print the Workers' Village, so that's nice. At least at the moment, it's like there's just so much junk around that it's difficult to be able to do um, to get much more than like 9 or 10. So yeah, if these coppers were gone, it would be much easier to find expensive, like more worthwhile treasures, which is what library is very good at. So here, I think you want to just set aside the Candlestick Maker as well. And at this point, it's not really like you need that many actions. But this is a quite a big threat right here, to be able to set aside this library. Yeah. Yeah, so I think jmcgnh has a few too uh, many Candlestick Makers, but it's working out. Nice stash of coppers. Um, all right, so now ArtisanFestival looks like they're printing their library. So it might they've got a very good setup here to be able to get a 7 card hand, multiple. If they play the Workers' Village after the library, because you can choose the order that you print, they can play the Workers' Village last, so they get the most search space from the library. Because the library stops drawing once your hand size is 7, but Workers' Village will always add another card to that. So, good order there. Good job. But it is a bit too little too late at the moment, because down 12 points, and it's just not quite enough to be able to catch up. So this isn't even able to get a double duchy here, but it could be duchy double estate. But jmcgh's in a good position, already $5 in hand. So here, I think save the coffers and don't get anything, because if ArtisanFestival is able to have a good hand, then they can get Province Duchy, which is winning. But Province double estate, ooh, that also wins. So let's see. It's not province estate ties, and I think you want to just take this tie here. All right. So yeah, estate. Yeah, I should not have said that. Yes, getting an estate would have been good, just to make sure that couldn't happen, because province estate is much easier than province double estate or province duchy. So yeah, you want to be very careful, and yeah, with high gold density like that, you want to just make sure that they can't do more than you think. But yeah, so that was jmcgh's first player, so we should be having ArtisanFestival go first for this next one. Alright. Okay, so we got ArtisanFestival going first, and then, yeah. Alright, so the play order is set. Alright, so what have we got here? We got a colony game. Enclave, Goons. Oh, Goons Highway. Okay. So, we've got for trashing, we have scrap, which is good for getting estates, but not for the coppers. Um, it looks like draw's a bit awkward because sleigh for horses. Um, royal carriage is and festival are a source of village. Um, haggler is a nice gainer, but gonna want to be doing goons highway kind of things. Um, so I think you want to thin down as much as you can. Although it's hard because highway and patrician just kind of anti-synergize. Because if you have a highway in play, then you're going to lower the cost of everything, so it makes it less likely for patrician to do its job and find expensive things. We've also got Guardian, which is okay, but the attacks aren't that bad enough, I don't think, to justify really getting it. It'll essentially just be a copper that at least stays out of your deck for a bit of time as a duration. And then we've also got Enclave as well, which is another good way of getting gold and some points in the meanwhile. So this could be a fast game, or it could be kind of sloggy. It really depends, but definitely want to be going for Goons Highway. There's also Horn of Plenty for. I think a Horn of Plenty Megaturn is gonna be harder, but you should be able to. You should want to play as many goons as possible per turn, and to be able to do that, you need to see as many cards. So you need to be thin or have a lot of sleigh. So that's going to be kind of awkward. So maybe having multiple goons played per turn is a bit much of an ask, but ideally you want to play goons every single turn. So yeah. All right, so we have silver scrap and guardian silver openings. I have to say I like the silver scrap opening more to work on getting trashing. I do not like the highway though as first five. It's a little weird here, just because. But Haggler or Festival would both be better than Highway at the moment. Because highways are best if you can see a lot of them constantly, and here it's basically just going to be a cantrip, not do much for you. Goons on 6 though is that is the right option. Yeah, and another problem with Highway this early is that now the scrap is going to be even less useful, because scrapping estates isn't great, but it's nice to get a silver or a horse early on from them. But just trashing a copper does literally nothing for you. And if Jay McCann had kept an estate, then they would have been able to get one other action, like one choice from there. So it's just they kind of don't work together. You want to kind of like you want to get your scrap and be thinning down before you start adding highways, because highway is technically a payload card. So you want to have deck control before adding payload. It's a cantrip, but the more of them you have, then everything is cheaper. So you want to be able to have a ton of buys with highways. So like that means like playing multiple goons or hagglers, really just to get more good stuff into your deck faster. So highways just really don't really help with that in the early game. Like you want to just play as many as you can. But yeah, so here is another place to not buy gold. But yes, Enclave is better than buying gold. I don't know if I agree with an Enclave there. I think that probably should have been a Goons instead. But at least it was not buying gold. And these Guardians are being bought a little prematurely, I think. ArtisanFestival definitely should not have 3. So, yeah. And these are a bit unfortunate polls, but you want to get rid of your estates more than your coppers when you have a scrap, and so you can't do that if you just keep discarding your estates. So yeah. But yeah, ArtisanFestival is feels like you're going a bit overboard on those on the Guardians. Yeah. Second Goons is good. I like that. But yeah, hitting Goons turn 3 is always very nice. There's a lot of other cards in the way of the Goons, but it's nice to get it early on, get your discard attacks in early, because that can really like slow down the build. And just given how awkward the draw is in this kingdom, like you just want to be as thin as possible. So that might mean scrapping some coppers earlier on, or at least like get rid of your estates. But yeah, it will get harder with more of like the longer you take, and the more stuff you add. Harder to find the things that you want, just because there's so much junk. So 5 here, yeah, Festival, Royal Carriage would both be great. I don't think Highway is really going to do much now for the rest of the game. So Haggler, Royal Carriage, Festival. Even Haggler's probably actually kind of skippable here, just because you want to be making sure to use your terminal space on the Goons. And yeah, if we're going for colonies here, this is going to be a really long game, because it's just going to be quite hard to hit 11, like at all. Okay, never mind. I forgot about the Guardian coming in. So, yeah. Worked out. Here, I think you want to scrap a colony, scrap a copper, or not. I think scrapping the copper would have just been strictly better, because if you were wanting to get a colony then you already had the money for that. But yeah, the goons attack is, if you play it more constantly than the other person, then you are in a good position from that. So Artisan Festival has been able to play it more often, and has two of the goons at least. I think. I guess Platinum's okay. I'd prefer another Enclave, but yeah, both these decks just need to be a lot thinner to do a lot of the stuff I was talking about. And the sad thing is that Goons and Highway both don't really work too well with Royal Carriage. So like Royal Carriage, you can make a Highway a village, or get another buy and some more money off of Goons, but it doesn't give you more cost reduction or more points per card bought. But yeah, so here, 2 buys with 8. Maybe Royal Carriage and Patrician might be okay to add at this point, just because a lot of your stuff is, a lot of your cards are more expensive. Probably another, like a Highway would be good, just to see highways more frequently. Artisan Festival's having less of an issue hitting higher prices, just because they have some more treasures and a lot more guardians, so more consistently able to defend against goons as well. But yeah, scrap. Yeah, okay, scrap is good. I like the scrap. Scrap's a good card. It's a little awkward, as I said, for trashing coppers, but yeah, you would want to, like, ideally have no estates left by the time you start adding highways into your deck, and then you can just go from there. Alright, not getting a copper at this point, which is, I think, is the right call. It's too early to start adding goons coppers. All right, there we go. Trashing an estate. I, I mean, I don't know what you would want to get here with that. Like, I guess yeah, a dollar and a horse. But even so, like you hit 4, which what do you do with that? There's not a lot of great options. Like maybe another scrap. Like can't hurt to like use as a terminal for getting rid of coppers if you need to. Um, you could scrap guardians, although they might not want to do that. Yeah, buying and gaining silver there. I mean, I guess it's okay, but you should have also probably like gotten silver horse instead of coin horse, and then you would have had just enough anyway. Um, but yeah. So you don't have to use all of your money, but if you have the opportunity to get something that doesn't cost you a buy, because you could have gotten a silver horse and scrap, or 2 silvers and a horse, um, but yeah, I mean there's not much you can do with that little money, so it's just a bit tricky, and you don't have to use all your buys or all your money, and you shouldn't feel like you have to, but you also should just get to the point where you can recognize, okay, like I have enough to be able to buy this thing I want and also trash another card for another card I want, to add 2 good cards into my deck while removing a bad card, instead of add 1 good card into my deck while removing a bad card. Yeah, with this 9, I mean, I would. Okay, good. Going Enclave. I like that there. Just increase your lead, and gold isn't too much worse than platinum. But yeah, so this can happen here quite easily. So yeah, jmcgnh can get a few good turns every once in a while. Here I would scrap the gold, just to keep drawing, but I guess yeah, I mean you're not going to be able to do much with this, like you like play the second scrap or whatnot, because everything is too cheap. Part of the problem with highways and scrap or other trash for benefit type cards. Because if the card depends on how much the card costs, then you reduce the benefit of playing that trash for benefit card if you reduce the cost of the card you're trashing. Alright, another goons. I like that, yeah. jmcgnh needs some more goons. Because at this point, there's no way to do any like sort of goons mega turn. So you just want to play goons as much as you can. Yeah, so patricians for Artisan Festival's deck. Um, would likely not end up being all that good, just because the majority of cards in their deck is costs less than 5, so Patrician's not going to be able to pull that up. On 4 here, yeah, I don't know. Silver, I guess, is fine. If you're going a more money-ish route, you just want as high money density as you can get. But functionally, both these decks have like 10-ish, 10 plus coppers in them, because Guardian isn't really all that good, and it's just another card that gets in the way of what could be a gold or a platinum. Goons, Highway, like it just is another card to have to be drawn. And with no real draw, like everything is just a cantrip, no way to increase your hand size, you're just seeing a new card. The ability to have a hand size of larger than 5 is nice, and you can't really get that with just the number of treasures and guardians there are. Like, there's just way too many stop cards, so it's just going to make it hard to see the cards that you want to see, which are the goons and the highways. Here, I think I would go for Enclave Patrician is okay, I guess, but I would have wanted to go for another goons and I don't know, maybe another scrap, maybe a silver, but I think J. McCann does need more goons than just 2. ArtisanFestival needs more than 3. So depending on whether ArtisanFestival wants to get like another goons or a gold or something, and again, don't buy gold. Like here, you should not buy gold. Should just enclaves. But yeah, might change your discard. So another highway is fine, I guess. But we're approaching the end of the colonies. A sad hand for ArtisanFestival that the goons are showing up together. These decks are so thick that's quite unlikely, so it's just kind of unfortunate there. But they will be able to get a colony on that turn. This next turn. And if they take a colony, then J. McCann wins this. Because there's nothing they can do to stop them from taking a colony. So I think here you want a province, and how much money is this? 7, 10, 11, 13? Province Duchy. Province Duchy would probably be best here. Ooh. Yeah, bit of a risk. Decent risk to take, but unfortunately for ArtisanFestival, J. McCann had a colony in hand. So the score is now 1.5, 0.5 for J. McCann. Alright. Got the player order switched. And let's see what we got. Yeah, royal carriage might have been nice there, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like in that case, like even so, right decision would have been take the colony. If even if Artisan Festival had been uh, had gone province duchy instead, just because jmcgnh could then extend their lead even more, and they're player two, so Artisan Festival would has to win and not tie, because the tie is a loss as player one. So yeah, that was. I mean, the right move there was to just get colony. Okay, all right. So we've got again no villages except for Molly and exploration, so a bit awkward villages, but nice trashing because you've got Doctor is a very good trasher, can overpay for it, and clean out your shuffle a bit before you go to your ordinary like turn 3 shuffle, and so that helps a lot to be able to get a copper estate out of there. There's a remodel as well for turning bad stuff into good stuff. We've got knights. Michael is on top, so I mean, it's okay. I'm not the biggest fan of knights personally. At least like definitely not his first 5. Michael on top does slightly push me more towards getting a knight or 2 earlier on, just because there isn't really like the main other problem of this kingdom is terminal space. So yeah, getting your doctor trashed out from under you would be actually quite nice. But yeah, exploration is also going to be helpful, and not the most not the most opportunities. Like you have to kind of go out of your way to be able to use it. But yeah, all right. So opening with Michael, and Josephine is underneath. So yeah. Yeah. Josephine is the worst knight, in my opinion. But yeah. So yeah, one of the things about the knights is that you kind of want to play them often rather than have a lot of the knights, because otherwise they just clutter up your deck. So 5 there on a doctor overpay would have been really nice, but it is what it is. It can be a bit scary to start off like that, but yeah. Anyway, so the point about the knights, you want to play them often. So ideally, like play at least a knight a turn, and if you can get to playing 2 knights a turn, then your opponent just isn't really going to be able to have a deck, unless like they follow with knights. So yeah, Michael's one of the nastier ones with the discard attack as well. But yeah, it's like having a lot of knights isn't really going to be great. The most important knight in that mile is in that pile is Dame Molly, um, who is, as I said, our only like village. But yeah, exploration is going to be kind of important otherwise. Then as a result, because it's so awkward. Um, yeah, because I guess you could just go more money-ish, like maybe get a camel train or two to exile some golds, and then only exile golds with your camel train, and then just um, if you can like get one gold, then you can get like 4 or 5 into your deck at once. Like that's something that you could go about. Yeah, building here just does look very hard, just because there's not really any consistent way to draw or play multiple actions a turn. So yeah, you probably kind of want to do just thin down more. So island's actually pretty good um, here. It seems like, because even though it's like a one shot thing, like it's another way to trashing. But yeah, Doctor or Remodel are both gonna be better than Island. So I think I agree with ArtisanFestival's Remodel. Yeah, on this 5, yeah, I think Guildhall Exploration are both projects that you would want to have, because this is going to be a bit more of a money-ish. The one problem with the camel train, like mass gold exiling, is just that you don't you only gain 1 gold, so you can't get like 4 or 5 coffers at once from Guildhall. But yeah, like I think otherwise you want to like remodel into, I don't know, remodel estates into silvers, and you can't do much about the coppers um, other than Doctor, unless you want to like get a bunch of estates. But yeah, remodeling coppers is just a bit awkward. All right, exiling a gold. Yeah. So Dame Josephine, her one like really good thing here is that she is one of only 2 cards that is naturally an amazing courtier target, because she has 4 different types. Um, the only other one being werewolf, but there are some other some other instances where cards can gain some more types, and maybe even get to. Most of them I think are 3. I can't think of one off the top of my head that capitalism will turn into a 4 type, but yeah, it is nice to have 4 types for a courtier. The other natural one is werewolf. But yeah, so courtier is nice to just get golds relatively easily. Can be used for money. This is just going to be a single province game, um, where you just want to thin down as much as you can, and it's not even going to be that thin, but just get a lot of money is a good way to go about it. So yeah, I agree with exploration there, but I think it should have been even earlier for both of them. Yeah, and it's just a bit tricky to be able to hit exploration. But here I think yeah, trash and estate into silver. I like it, and then I would just not like don't even buy anything. Like just get your villager back because you are going to need it. Yeah, so if Jay McCann had exploration at this point, that'd be really, really good. Because they've been getting like both of them are going to get a decent number of those turns where it's like two and I mean you don't really want. I mean I don't really want like any of these cards honestly, because it's just such a weak board that they can't do much together. Like I just want silver gold, and that's about it. Like horse traders here is just totally worthless. Like you can get yourself four. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. If you don't have your golds, I think that's a good point to get them. But a courtier would have been better because you can just keep gaining yourself more golds, and you're going to be able to get golds more consistently that way. Yeah. So at the moment, Jay McCann is doing better with flooding their deck with gold. Like here, like four, I don't want anything. Like, okay, I guess another camel train is fine, but yeah. And Michael here is going to be really bad just because this um, is a really hard brutal attack because this is just such a moneyish board. Jay McCann also has gotten a bit unluckier that they've had a gold trashed both times, but I guess the majority of their cards that knights can hit are probably gold, so shouldn't necessarily say unlucky. But yeah, I think here just exile gold and province. Like this is the time to be able to start provincing early because it's so little else going on. All right, I don't agree with that. A second night is not good. Here, don't play your horse traders. But yeah. Yeah, so the second night, I mean, it's okay, but Natalie is worse than usual, just given that you don't really want any of these threes. If you can get both Destry and Molly, that might be nice, but that's quite a high hope, and probably not really worth it to try. So I think on Jay McCann's side, probably one of the biggest mistakes is um, exploration is really good, and in a kingdom like this, like, sure, it'll help to get, like, because here, like, if you had a villager on hand, you could play both the camel train and Michael, and here you should definitely play Michael. And like Michael and get exploration, I think is what you should just absolutely do. All right, buy exploration, buy exploration. Oh boy! All right, and Dame Josephine and Michael are both gone. So that is a nice break for Artisan Festival, because they do not have to worry about that anymore. In fact, Artisan Festival is the only one that has a night at the moment. I do think that jmcgnh just should not get another night. I think they will be fine. They are winning the gold split by quite a lot, because they've been able to get gold more easily because they have the courtier. Alright, going for a gladiator. Interesting decision. Yeah, if you were gonna exile a gladiator, I can understand. Yeah, so it was a good move exiling the gladiator, but not releasing it from exile when you bought the next one, because if you want fortune, it's just gonna be so hard to actually be able to like get, and might not even end up being really worth it for Artisan Festival, just because their deck does not have that much money comparatively. Because here they'll basically still only be able to province, even if they play the horse traders. Yeah. Oh, we're going all the way. All right, that was just, I guess, one too far, but yeah.
Oh, just one second. Sorry.
No problem.
Shit. I'm making so much noise.
That is quite all right.
Oh, it's not like an important meeting?
It's not a meeting, but
Okay.
all right. Yes, but yeah, no, gladiator trashing is automatic here. But yeah, gladiator trashing. Yeah. I mean, you do want to get the gladiators out of the way. The fortune is pretty good, but just having this many gladiators is not. Yeah, so here I think just province again. yeah, Jay McCann is going to be in very good shape here. Yeah, the Courtier was quite a good decision. But yeah, more Courtiers would be good to just. You just want to have as much gold as you can possibly get. But yes, yeah. So he gets able to get a gold, but yeah, Artisan Festival is quite far behind on the golds at this point. I think the gold split is something. It's probably about something like 12 to 7, 6, something. It's not a lot. Yeah, the fortune there was it's just too little, too late. Now is really not a time that you want to put yourself into 8 debt. But I mean, it's just there's not much you can do at this point. Yes, yeah, you can exile yourself another gold and okay, exiling a fortune, interesting. Okay, all right. It's good. Yeah, they get the debt mechanics. That's nice. Yeah, yeah. Horse. Seeing that horse traders is just like not the greatest here. Um, they at least do have a coffer to get themselves back up to 8. But yeah, there's just really no way. So they don't know it, but Jay McCann's got it in hand. So yes, yeah, another duchy, another estate, sure. All right, and that is game. So that is the end of game 3. Jay McCann up 2.5, 0.5. I believe. Let me just make sure I'm not lying. All right, yes, it is 2.5, 0.5. Oh. Wait, what happened? All right. Well, I will stop the recording momentarily and resume when they continue. Thanks.